Good morning, good morning. My name is Reverend Lezli Goodwin, and I'm one of your senior ministers. And it is my honor to speak with you this morning. I want to add my welcome to everyone, to the wonderful things that Reverend Karen said. It is so true how important you are to us. So please do check in, log in there on YouTube, and let us know where you're watching from. We want to get to know you. My talk today is called Speak the Truth. Speak the truth. And in some ways, this is a really great back to basics talk about science of mind. And in some ways, it's the most advanced talk you'll ever hear. Because while most of us have heard this information, the truth is this is some of the hardest stuff to actually put into action. So here's my example. I had a phone call this morning with Virginia Fisher, who's one of our practitioner emeritus here at New Vision Center. She's been a practitioner for 30-some years, I believe is the number. And so we were talking on the phone, and we had a lovely conversation. And we hang up, and about 10 minutes later, she calls me back. And I say, "Hey, Virginia, what's up?" And she says, "Well, you said something that is not true in our talk earlier. And I just wanted to address it." I said, "Oh, well, help me out, because I don't know what she's talking about, right? Help me out." And she says, "You said this." Well, let me check with Reverend Karen about that, because sometimes she has things going on that I don't know about, and she's in charge of that area of the church. And she is so clever, far cleverer than I. So let me double check with her, and we will find out. And then we went on and talked about whatever else and hung up. And she said, "Reverend Karen is not cleverer than you. You are uniquely clever in your own ways. And I just wanted to be a good practitioner and call you out on it." And that's how easy it happens, y'all. That's how easy it is to not speak the truth. You take your eyes off the prize for 1 second and you don't speak the truth. Now, the good news is that the truth is whispering to us all the time through the voices of good friends and practitioners and ministers who will call us out, through memes on Facebook sometimes, or the books we read, or the TV shows we write. Some of the things that I am going to quote and talk about in this talk today came to me in silly ways, not from researching, but simply through flipping through my Facebook feed or listening to one of the silly novels I like to listen to. So pay attention as you're out about in your life, because the truth is being whispered to you every moment of every day. And instead, we have a tendency to cover it up with our own silly lies. And good that I had Virginia to call me up and call me out on it. Speaking the truth. And I'm using the capital T for truth here. The truth of the divine, the truth of universal allness, is that there is more than enough goodness and more than enough godness in, through, and as each of us, all the time. We're talking about true prosperity this month. So remember, we defined prosperity as the experience of having more than enough good in relationships, in health, and in plenty. And so when we're speaking the truth about our relationships, our health, and our plenty of substance, if we're saying anything other than how good it is and how much better it's getting, we are not speaking the truth. Oh, here's the hard part though, y'all. Even harder than keeping your head on straight is we speak the truth out loud. Out loud. And sometimes it makes you feel like this. Yeah, that's a picture of Jack Handy. And if you watch Saturday Night Live as obsessively as I have watched Saturday Night Live, then you probably saw him back in the day saying, "I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me." That is what we tend to think of when we think of affirmations. Those, in fact, are affirmations. But we minimize it when we turn it into a joke. And that is what we are not going to do, because here is what Charles Fillmore, one of the founders of the Unity movement, our sister churches, the Unity churches, what he had to say. He said, "We can have every good thing for which we are willing to pay the price of daily, consistent affirmation." I'm going to read it again because it's important. We can have every good thing for which we are willing to pay the price of daily, consistent affirmation. Daily, consistent affirmation. People have said to me, "I don't like to do affirmations because I feel like I'm lying." When I speak an affirmation, which is just a statement, a strong statement in the present tense of what you would like to be true, said as if it is already true. They say, when I say an affirmation, I feel like I'm lying because I look around at my world and that is not what I see. To affirm literally means to make firm. To make firm. You know, Emma Curtis Hopkins said, "Stand in your firmament." Stand in your firmament, which just is old-fashioned language for stand in your truth. Own it, claim it, proclaim it. Stand in your truth. An affirmation means to make firm. There are two reasons an affirmation is essential for people that do work like we do in metaphysics. One is it takes our intention and it presses it into the law of cause and effect. It tells the universe what we want so that it can reflect back to us what we are claiming for ourselves. That's classic law of attraction stuff. Going all the way back to The Secret and far, far, far beyond that. We impress what we want into the law so it can reflect back to us. It does something else as well, though, and perhaps they're interrelated, is over time, it changes the part of our brain that tells us that we should look at what is physically in front of us instead of what it is we're working to accomplish. So our emotions, our memories, especially traumatic or deep ones, are stored in a part of our brain that is non-logical. And so when we try to logic our way out of situations, that part of our brain never gets touched, which is unfortunate because that's the part we're trying to change. But repetitive chanting, affirmations, especially affirmations if you do them while moving, sing your affirmations and dance to them, literally changes your brain and undoes all of the lies and all of the woundedness and all of the harm that's been done to your psyche over your whole entire life. So when we make affirmations, we're basically erasing the old bad and putting the new in that we want to have instead, and then taking that and pushing it right into the machine that is the law of cause and effect that affects what shows up in our physical world. This is good news, right? This is good news. We get to change what is. We get to overwhelm what is physically present with the flowing good that is always on its way to us. And it feels amazing. It feels amazing to affirm something great is happening to me. And sometimes, sure, sometimes it feels like I'm fibbing a little bit. I'm faking it till I make it, if you will, right? I'm on my way, but maybe I'm not quite there yet. So what do? We affirm it out loud until we believe it. And the out loud matters for so many reasons. One, we're really owning it. When you say something out loud, you are claiming it on another level. Plus, you're hearing yourself say it. Ever notice how much easier it is to believe what somebody else says to you about you than what you think yourself? Well, say it out loud. You can listen to your own self tell you. It's easier to believe it when you hear it out loud. If you're looking for a wonderful affirmation to start with, here's one of my favorites from our own practitioner, Marty Stevens. Every day, in every way, my life is getting better and better. You're working on your health. Every day, in every way, my health is getting better and better. You're working on your personal abundance. Every day, in every way, my bank account is getting better and better. You're working on your relationship. Every day, in every way, my relationship is getting better and better. Try it. See how amazing it is to affirm your way into a better life. But wait, there's more. So we've affirmed, we've thought, we've talked. What about blessing? Another great way to speak the truth is to bless everything and everyone. Remember, giving thanks increases flow, increases and multiplies that which we call out. So in addition to saying every day in every way my bank account's getting fuller and fuller, I can bless my bank account. I bless my bank account to the full measure of Spirit. We can bless anything that we want to see increase. I bless my clients and know that more are coming every day. You want health? You want your health to increase? I bless my body temple and know that God is at work in every cell. Really feel into that. I bless my body temple and know that God is at work in every cell. Ooh. It feels delicious to just pause and bless our checkbook, our health, our friends, our partner. I very often bless my washing machine and my dryer, my clothes dryer, because I went through a period of time where they were a little sketchy and didn't work so well, and I didn't know if my clothes were going to get dry at any point. And oh, how lovely it is to open up that dryer and know that my clothes are dry and fresh. I bless that beautiful clothing dryer who does such wonderful work for me. Speaking blessings supports the sureness that we feel in our affirmations. Sometimes, when we affirm, we're really claiming it for ourselves, and sometimes we need a little bit of insurance under there, right? I am getting healthier every day. Beautiful. I'd like a little bit of an insurance policy under there. I bless my health because I know Spirit is on the job. Ooh. I have all the faith in the world that Spirit is on the job. And all of a sudden, that affirmation feels easier to believe, easier to anchor into. Oh, when I'm feeling into true prosperity, the idea of affirming and then blessing everything in my life, it starts this almost carbonated feeling in my toes and works its way up my body as I think, I know my good, I claim my good, and I bless everything good in my life. I feel it work its way up, up, up into me. Sometimes, though, we are interacting with people and situations that are not just the things that are going great and that we want to increase. Sometimes we're running into situations, relationships that are a challenge to us. Perhaps it's just me. I will claim it. I occasionally have challenges with the occasional person or situation. And I can feel stuck. It can feel like I'm in a sticky tar of stuckness. Maybe you can relate. And sometimes I will look at these people, these situations, these organizations that I'm having a hard time with, and when good things happen for them, I feel a little bit of a churning resentment in my belly area. I don't want to see them do well. I don't think they're good, whatever that means, good people, or feel like I'm competing with them, or they took my toy. And I don't want to think good things about them. And so what do when we take what we know from science of mind, which is that we cannot have anything that we resent for anybody else? In other words, if I'm angry at Jim and Jim just got a plane and I want a plane, and I look at Jim and I think, freaking Jim, this stupid plane. Jim doesn't deserve a plane. I'm not having it. What I've really said to the universe, I might as well have affirmed it as, I cannot have a plane. I can never have a plane. And it's true whether you're resenting your brother's nice new house or your old boss who is a schmuggity and the success of their new company. Anything we resent for anybody else having, we then cannot have. Oh, but it's so natural, isn't it? To just not like it. Just not like it. So what do? This is a little bit of a stuck spot. What do we do? And my favorite activity to get me unstuck from this is to use that forgiveness prayer from the Fear to Faith materials, which is the blessing prayer. So what we do is we breathe in and we silently say to ourselves, I accept you, Jim. And as we breathe out, we silently say, I bless you, Jim. Over and over, I accept you and the name, I bless you and the name. So I invite you right here, right where we are, to take a moment and allow someone, and a person or an organization to come to your mind that you're struggling with right now. Just pick the first one that pops up and close your eyes. And for just about a minute here, we're going to inhale, I accept you and the name, and exhale, I bless you and the name. Doesn't that feel better? Doesn't something about your heart feel freer and more light when you take that moment to accept and bless whoever is weighing heavy on your heart? So we have affirmations to claim our own good, and we have blessings to anchor that good. And there's one more way that we can speak our truth to impact the world around us, and that is sincere praise. Now, I want to pause a moment because the word sincere is important here. If you've ever been insincerely praised, you know what I'm saying here. You have to really mean it. This isn't something that you can baby step your way into. You have to really mean it. But when you see a situation or a person or an action that deserves praise, praise it. Think about what it feels like when you receive sincere praise. What do you want to do? When somebody says, Rhonda, the way you really put your heart into finding the best ways to move forward, even if it means learning a whole new way of doing things, and it means the world to me that you are willing to use your service energy toward making sure we have a good recorded service. What would that make you want to do? Do more of it. Be with that person. Act in that way. Praise is an amplifier. If we call out and actively praise the people who are behaving in a way that make life better, they want to be around us and they want to do things that make life better. It's delicious. It's the easiest, most obvious thing in the world, and yet we forget to do it. When we praise what we have, more of it comes our way. It's an affirmation that more good is always coming. When we praise God, which just means being thankful, it's literally a part of our spiritual mind treatment. Our affirmative prayer is to give thanks for the goodness that is. When we praise the goodness that is, when we praise the infinite power of the universe and the way it's working in our life, guess what it does? It works in our life. I mean, it works in our life all the time, but hey, it works in our life the way we want it to, which that's usually what brings people to New Vision Center. And when we praise others through sincere compliments or raising and praising them, which if you have not had the fun of doing raise and praise, it looks something like this. I'm going to raise and praise Mr. right now because he always puts his full energy into doing the very best job he can to make sure I sound good, to make sure Reverend Karen sounds good, to make sure the Divine Groove sounds good. And we know the Divine Groove sounds good, right? And he's here early and he stays late and he's always 100% paying attention to making sure this all works out for all of us. And that means a lot. And how does it feel to be raised and praised? It feels like you're seen. It feels like you matter. And you do. And so do the people in your life. So many people are involved in your good experience in any given day. Making coffee. Driving nicely on the freeway so you don't have to at them. Your coworkers, your friends, your family members, every person in every store, everyone who is careful with your health or your needs, all of those people are contributing to a beautiful life for you. Raise and praise them. Compliment them sincerely. Bless them. Affirm good for them. You may know about me that I like to listen to very goofy, supernatural mysteries. They call them supernatural cozy mysteries, usually involving witches, vampires, or both. And as I was taking a break from talk writing this week, that thing I was talking about at the beginning of the service where the truth speaks to you from the strangest places, I heard this line in the middle of my silly supernatural romance. And I paused it and rewinded it. And this is what I heard. The truth of our lives is that we don't often know how we influence other people. That kind remark or that cutting one could land and change someone's life, and we will never know it. We never generally get to find out how we impacted someone. But I'm willing to bet right now you can think of a time somebody said something to you that changed the way you approached your life, that opened you up to try something new or go deeper or go bigger or feel better about yourself. And you have that power. You have that power to claim more for yourself through affirmation. You have that power to amplify your own good through blessing. And you have that power to share that good all around you with everyone you meet through the power of praise. And all of it, every word of it, is the truth. Use your power to speak the truth. If we would become as emotionally aroused over our ideals as we become over our dislikes, we would ascend to the plane of our ideal as easily as now we descend to the plane of our hates. Those are the words of Neville Goddard, one of the fathers of New Thought. Those truths have not changed. Speaking the truth is just as important today. Our call to action, our invitation, is to speak the truth this week and every week. Speak the truth about yourself. Speak the truth about God. Speak the truth about the others around you through praise. And if you can't think of a really great affirmation, you could try this one. Everything and everyone prospers me now. Everything and everyone prospers me now. And do your darndest to make sure that you are a source of prospering to everyone you meet. I will be doing the same. Please join me as we anchor this in prayer. I invite every practitioner and every minister of religious science to stand with me now. Take a stand for the work of the divine in our hearts and in our minds and in our lives as we know the truth about infinite spirit, almighty divine goodness, pure love. This is the truth of God. And I claim and know that it is the truth of each one of us right here, right now, as I speak this word, knowing, affirming, claiming, blessing each one of us. And knowing that the work of the one is at work in each of our individual lives, as well as the life of New Vision Center, and every life everywhere. Every sentient being is a part of the infinite receivership of good itself. That there is always more than enough money, more than enough places to live, more than enough food, more than enough joy, more than enough relationship opportunities, more than enough jobs, more than enough of everything we call good. And so I affirm and know right here, right now, that each beloved being and each opportunity that is available are matched up perfectly, ideally. That each of us claim that truth for ourselves and for everyone that we know and everyone that we meet. And inherently the flow of good, of life itself, is connecting all the dots and straightening seemingly crooked paths so that we all have exactly what we need and exactly what we want. I speak a word of blessing over the health of each and every one of us. That every cell of our being, every tissue, every fiber, every bone, every muscle, every organ is being whispered over by the truth of the divine. We are well. I am well. You are well. We are well. True prosperity is each of ours right here, right now. And I am so thankful to know this truth. I am so thankful to live this truth, to experience this truth for myself and for each one of us. And so I release it into the action of universal law and call it good and very, very good as we say together, and so it is.